You wanted more NASCAR? You've got more NASCAR. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to find out what NASCAR is at its core. Sit back, relax, but most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
It's showtime.
What is going on, YouTube universe? This is Zirra. Welcome back to Zirra Reacts, the channel where I break down, interpret, and do whatever I have to do to videos on the internet. Now, a few months ago, I uploaded this video right here, and surprisingly, it went over incredibly well with you guys, which came as a shock because, for myself, that was the first time I've sat down in my life and dedicated time to watching NASCAR. Here in Australia, NASCAR isn't that big of a thing, and outside of, tuning into ESPN or something on TV, I don't really have all that big of amount of access to American sports. I watch the NBA, I watch the NFL, the occasional NHL game, but motorsports is really some uncharted waters for myself. And that video still shakes me to my core with some of the crashes we saw in that compilation video I reacted to. It's just still hard to get my head around the fact that nobody died in that video. And some of those crashes, like if you were to see that in a street situation, every driver would be dead. And it's just attributed to the fact of how well these cars are built and how safe they are to drive despite all the crashing. But I figured before we continue to dive into more NASCAR videos, I need to familiarize myself with what NASCAR is. So I found a video on YouTube by a creator known as F1 Fan 0001, and it's basically a beginner's guide to NASCAR. It's going to hopefully teach me everything I need to know moving forward, and then once we, do this video, moving forward I can do videos that you guys have reacted, like more crashing compilations, the best passes, the best rivalries. There was a half-hour documentary style NASCAR video that somebody reacted. I am open to reacting to all of those and then some. I'm obviously doing a lot of music reactions on the channel. I'm hoping NASCAR helps me break into sports reactions, because I would love to react to, the NBA, the NFL, NHL. Being Australian, I want to start doing some AFL reactions. I'm not really big into soccer, but I'm open to looking at soccer, looking at rugby. Let's really start bulking up sports reactions as a subgenre here on the channel. But today, our focus is NASCAR, a beginner's guide to NASCAR. So sit back, relax, do whatever you have to do to get comfortable, strap yourselves in, you need to make sure you're safe, and let's learn a little bit about NASCAR together. Kicking things off with a fucking car on fire, a bit of crashing, I can dig it. Really looking forward to finding out
it's
more about
fast,
sport.
It's loud, and it's about as American as it gets. I'm talking, of course, about NASCAR. To many people over here in Europe, NASCAR seems somewhat impenetrable as a series. I mean, stages? Playoffs? Competition cautions? But with the NASCAR Cup Series off-season in full swing, I thought it would be a great idea to try and introduce it to some of you folk who may not be so familiar with the series.
Thank you.
This is the Beginner's Guide to NASCAR.
All credit obviously going to FIFA Fan 0001 for creating this video as well. Because as an Australian looking in, NASCAR is just a race with cars doing laps around a circular track. Doesn't seem like much to it. And I'm probably rudely mistaken.
The NASCAR Cup Series held its first race on June the 19th, 1949 in Charlotte, North Carolina, which makes it officially older than Formula One. Since then, a lot has changed in the sport, going from nearly showroom fresh street cars that still had the bench seats and the AM radios installed, all the way to today's high-tech space frame chassis monsters.
Gotta appreciate the old school vehicles.
Modern cars feature a 358 cubic inch naturally aspirated V8 engine, which transmits power to the rear wheels through a 4-speed H-pattern gearbox. Up front, double wishbone suspension is featured with a live rear axle at the rear. Driving aids such as traction control and anti-lock brakes are prohibited.
Wow.
The space frame chassis is covered in a 24-gauge sheet metal body that has to conform to strict templates for each manufacturer and is customised for each type of track visited. The NASCAR Cup Series visits 4 main types of track, each one with entirely different requirements in terms of setups and racing style. The most common is the Speedway.
Is it Daytona?
These are between 1 and 2 miles in length and can vary in shape, from the D shape of Charlotte in Kentucky to the more paperclip shape of Homestead, Miami. These are seen as the standard track in NASCAR and boomed from the late 1990s to today. Despite being the most modern tracks, fans often lament the fact that the tracks are somewhat samey and offer less interesting racing than the other circuits. Wait, cookie-cutter tracks that produce mediocre racing replacing classic venues we all know and love? See, F1 fans? We aren't alone after all.
I love that. I love
Next
that
up
little
are the
dig.
short tracks. These ovals of less than 1 mile in length include Martinsville Speedway and Richmond Raceway in Virginia, as well as Bristol Speedway in Tennessee. NASCAR short track racing offers close contact racing and a very high level of intensity from start to finish, which often leads to drama both on the track.
The 2017 champion, will he get the bumper? Yes, he does. Here comes Logano. Logano on the inside. A drag race. They're sideways. And it's going to be Logano.
Oh, that was a nice little push. That was nice.
And off the track.
Stop. Stop.
Oh yeah, punch the fuck out of him. Jesus Christ. You wouldn't think drivers would want to punch on like that. That's intense. I've got to start watching more short track NASCAR racing.
Up third are the road courses, because yes, NASCAR does feature right turns, and yes, it does race in the rain on these tracks. Although not on the ovals, because, well,
Cook and maybe Joe Nemechek out seeing if he came out or not. But these are guys that are trying to make the race. Oh, we got trouble.
Oh yeah, you've spun out a little bit, haven't you?
It is raining on the back straightaway.
See, as somebody watching NASCAR with no clue as to what NASCAR is, I wouldn't have known that there are courses that have right-hand turns, you know, because the joke with NASCAR normally is they're making a left turn, you know?
the series mixes up both oval-derived road courses like the ones at Daytona,
There we go.
Charlotte, as well as the likes of Watkins Glen, Sonoma Raceway, and, as of 2021, the Circuit of the Americas.
I've heard of Daytona.
Finally, there are the super speedways. The super speedways of Daytona and Talladega are probably what you would
Talladaga's
think
another one.
of first when someone mentions NASCAR to you. The circuits are high speed and are all about staying in the draft from the car in front. The result is incredible pack racing, with huge lines of cars going 2, 3 and sometimes even 4 wide for lap after lap, and then occasionally causing a massive...
Wow! That's what my knowledge of NASCAR is, super speedways.
On a side note, you may notice something different about the cars when they compete on the short tracks. On ovals over 1.3 miles in length, the cars will run at 550 brake horsepower and have a large rear spoiler. At 8 inches tall, it is so high that at the top a transparent section has to be included so that the drivers can see something other than their own car in their rearview mirror. This large spoiler creates lots of drag and aids drafting and overtaking
Yep.
at the bigger tracks. In contrast, at the short tracks, the rear spoiler is reduced to 2 3/4 inches in height, and power is increased to 750 brake horsepower to ensure that dirty air doesn't become an obstacle to good racing at the tracks without the large straights to allow for drafting. Right then, with that out of the way, it's finally time to throw the green flag and start the race. If you're coming straight from watching Formula 1, it's worth remembering that the excitement in the race tends to be the reverse of Formula 1's. The most exciting laps tend to be right towards the finish, so just settle in and enjoy for now.
Formula 1 is something I'm thinking of reacting to as well, so if you're
Okay,
an F1
so
fan...
we're a short
eyes
way into the
peeled.
race. The order has settled for the time being, and what's this? A caution? Is there rain on our speedway? No. Is there debris around? No. Has a car crashed somewhere? Nope. This is a competition caution. The competition caution has been seen a lot through 2020 thanks to the scrapping of qualifying and practice sessions. But in a normal race, it is only really thrown if there's been a change in the track conditions since qualifying, usually brought about by overnight rain. It allows the teams to come in and adjust the setups of their cars to suit the new conditions and to change tyres. Ordinarily, cars would lose a lap to the leader in most tracks if they pitted under green flag conditions, so teams would be hesitant to come in and make the changes.
Okay.
Under all cautions, the first car that is a lap down is allowed to unlap itself, which is known as the free pass. So, the caution period's all sorted and it's almost time for the restart. On the final lap, under caution, the choose cone comes into effect. This is a painted V shape on the track just after the start-finish line. Drivers will need to make a tactical choice on whether to take the preferred racing line on the restart or take the worst line but perhaps start in a higher position as a result. It's only a minor rule introduced in 2020, but so far it's actually really mixed up the running order and produced quite a lot of excitement on the restarts. Now, every motorsport fan around the world has experienced the same conversation with someone at some point in their lives. You know, the one that usually comes to an abrupt end when the other person says something like, I don't know, I only watch the first and last laps because they're the only interesting ones. Well, a few years ago in a NASCAR meeting in some swanky hotel, no doubt, they were having a big discussion about that exact thing. So, how do we get people to watch more of the race if they're only interested in the first and last laps?
Very good point.
You've just got to have more of them first laps and last laps, ain't you? You know, oh, if you excuse me, I'm off to the bar on the company credit card.
That's big brain right there.
Wait, that's absolutely genius! Jenkins, you're a madman! I love you!
I can make him president.
And that's kind of how we ended up with stage racing. The race is broken up by the green and white checkered flag 2 times in every race, apart from the Coca-Cola 600. The caution is thrown out, everybody pits, and we go through the whole restart period again that I just mentioned a bit ago. At the end of each stage, points are awarded to the top 10 finishers, along with a playoff point to the driver who was in the lead at the end of the stage. But we'll get to the playoff points in a little bit. So, we've navigated our way through the race. We've survived cautions, restarts, the stages, and the inevitable big one if we're dealing with a super speedway. That just leaves us with one final piece of NASCAR oddity to deal with, the championship format. Worried about how audiences tend to turn off after the championship is sealed, NASCAR introduced a system for the championship that guarantees that the title will be decided at the final race of the season.
Smart.
The first 26 races of the season form the regular season, where drivers are trying to qualify for the playoffs. Quite simply, win a race and you are in to the 16-car playoff field. So if we take the winners from the 2020 regular season, you'll get this as your playoff field. But hang on, only 11 drivers won a race during the regular season. So what now?
Do we have wild cards?
Well,
or does
the
it work
top
off
scoring
points?
drivers for the season so far fill out any remaining places.
Yep.
And then your playoff field is set. Now, only one of these 16 drivers can win the championship over the next 10 races.
I can get around that.
Once
I can
the
dig
field
that.
is set, everybody's points are reset. And then, any playoff points accumulated throughout the season are added in, which gives drivers who've already booked a spot in the playoff right at the start of the season an incentive to keep on pushing. The round of 16 lasts for 3 races, and once again, you win a race and you advance to the next round. And then, everybody else fights for points. After those 3 races are up, the bottom 4 are dumped out of the playoffs and can no longer win the championship. We repeat this after another 3 races, and then again, and so on, until 4 drivers are left ahead of the final race of the season. Whoever out of these 4 drivers finishes highest up the order is your NASCAR Cup Series champion.
Okay.
Well, that kind of just about covers it for now. I hope you enjoyed our little stateside journey together. If you did, then give it a like, let me know. And in the comments, let me know if there's any other series that you would like to have a little beginner's guide to. And See you next time.
Thank you, good sir. That was great. I loved that video. So thank you once again to FIFA fan 0001 for creating that for people like myself to, you know, understand the sport more. But there's more I want to know. There's more I want to learn. And you guys in the comments of the first NASCAR video have come out in droves to let me know about the sport and give myself, you know, detailed insight into the fact that, you know, nobody died in those crashes and how the cars are built. Seeing in this video how some of the tracks are different from others, how there's different types of race, you know, courses and types, and how the playoff system works and everything else. Very insightful, but I feel there's still plenty more for myself to learn. So I'm still going to be checking out best passes, more of the worst crashes, you know, some of the best rivalries, videos like that. But if there are any more videos NASCAR related for all the NASCAR viewers out there that might give myself better insight into the sport, feel free to let me know in the comment section down below. Also let me know, considering, you know, NASCAR is a sport, and I've just said at the top of the video I want to learn more about not only NASCAR but check out other sports as well. What sports would you like to see me react to? Leave links for videos down in the comment section. I'll save all those videos. I'll make a bank. That's what I do with all my reactions. Whenever somebody gives me a recommendation, that video gets downloaded and put into a folder on my computer, so then I can bring a reaction out for you for that. Just let me know. Whatever you guys want to see, I'm happy to bring it. That wraps up today's video though. Do hope you guys enjoyed and found it as insightful as I did. Hopefully some of you out there are watching this video and, you know, it's your first insight to NASCAR. I'd love to hear your comments and keep telling me about this sport. Keep showing me things that you want me to see, because I really enjoy and appreciate the fact that you guys keep reaching out to let me know, you know, and to help me out a bit more. The community we're building is brilliant, and I seriously cannot thank you guys enough. So if you want to support myself a bit more, you can do so a couple of ways. You can hit that like button down below, and you can hit subscribe as well. Get on board the Kaiju crew and come on this journey with me. But that's it from me, guys. I'm out of here, and as always, I will catch you guys next time.